really good news for you both.
What?
I have not broken any bones in my foot,
Good.
but I have fractured 4 of them.
Is there a difference?
Yes, there's no clean snaps.
Oh, you got some like hairline fractures.
Yeah.
Man, what actually happened? Can you run me through it?
So, I had just had a socially distanced picnic, and I had been drinking some wine and then some very nice damson porter that was given to me by an elderly member of the family.
Are you aware of how middle class you're sometimes coming across?
I know.
You
It's
are
crazy.
the most middle class man I have ever met.
See, it's funny because I managed to sound that way, but also never have any money in my bank account, which is like a really interesting conflict. I was walking home. I was carrying a till because I'm setting the till up for the coffee shop, and I also had my camera over my shoulder. And a cyclist came across the path very fast. I should point out this was quite late at night, and he came like straight across. And just like, didn't like super hit me, but clipped me to the point where I was nearly dropping all of these things. And to save not dropping all of these things, I stepped directly sideways onto my foot. And like all of my weight was just on the side of my foot very suddenly. And it hurt a lot. See, nothing broke because my foot had a bad time.
Because your foot broke?
Yeah. Yes.
You have the worst luck with your feet bones, mate.
Yeah, my feet aren't great.
Are any of the toes broken, or is it just upper bone?
Nah, it's the centre foot area.
Wow, so you're working your way up.
Yeah.
First you broke all 10 toes at once.
Yeah, next will be my ankle. I'll snap an ankle at some point.
You're going to be like Flat Stanley by the time you're 40, because all your bones will be mush.
If I could slip into places like that, I would.
Do you have brittle bone disease?
I don't think so. I hope not.
How many bones have you broken? You're talking as if you've broken many bones.
Well, all of my toes twice.
What?
I know. Wild.
How do you know how to walk? Are you like stomping around?
It's never been my fault. I want to be clear.
You've broken all of your 10 toes twice.
Yeah.
20 bones. No, 10 bones, but twice.
Yeah. As a kid, I got a hairline fracture in my skull.
Oh.
And he has a hole in his lung.
Yeah.
So Seb is the Swiss cheese of humans.
But that's not a bone. You can't come in here telling me that lungs are bones now.
I'm not.
Okay.
I don't want to do that because that's a horrible thought. That's just ribs.
Have you ever considered inflatable bones?
No. Welcome to Forever in Bloom, a cinematic exploration, investigation, and celebration of Jeff Goldblum. This is episode
11.
No, we just did 11. It's 12.
It is 12.
Wow, it's 12. Yeah, film 18, Silverado.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Oh God.
Fuck, man.
Jeff Goldblum plays Slick.
Slick or Calvin Sandhope.
Yeah, both
How he
fantastic
introduces
names.
himself.
Can I just point out that in his last film, he was randomly a cowboy, and now in this film, he is a cowboy.
He was wearing sheepskin chaps in the last film in
Banzai.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Buckaroo Banzai.
And this one, he was wearing like fur all over his torso.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't like how you pronounced that.
No, I didn't. That's what the delay was about. I was gonna come at you and like insult your. I was gonna. Yeah. Never mind.
So
I just didn't like the inflection. Also, okay.
So Silverado is.
Yeah, Seb, can you please tell me, because I have absolutely no idea what
go on,
happened
Seb.
for the last 2 hours.
Tell us the plot of Silverado.
Silverado is a western. Let's
Keep
get
it
that
snappy,
straight.
Kid. Is it?
Yeah, it tries to be. And it's about standard cowboy western things in that it's half a revenge story, it's half a pretty woman who loses a husband and needs with apostrophe quote marks needs a new man. And,
Missed that storyline entirely.
Yeah.
and
Is she-
it's
it's
about
another
brotherly
case-
love.
Sorry. It's
There's-
another film where you have the only woman who talks as if she has a man who has a hand up her butt and is controlling her like a puppet and telling her what to say,
That's where at
whispering
one
in
point-
her ear.
At one
what to
point,
say.
she even says, like, it's talking about how pretty the landscape is, and then she's like, one day I'm not going to be pretty, but this land still will be. And it's like, what
Yeah,
the
it's
fuck
just
does that
bad.
mean?
No, Liam, you're wrong. Like, me and my female friends, that's all we talk about. We stand there
About how much time you have left
Looking
before
out.
you're ruined.
into the landscape, like contemplating our own mortality and worrying about the fact that we're so unlovable because one day our
You will be soiled in the patriarch's eye.
we'll be droopy and old and unbangable, and then we're not women anymore.
Beth,
and
that's
it's
very
such a shame.
subjective. There are people who
Oh,
are very
yeah.
into it. As people get older, some would say they mature like wine.
I'm
This is
actually
an
12 years
action
older from
comedy.
watching this movie. Nowhere in IMDb does it list this as a comedy. I was looking for that.
It's a comedy. The thing I
A
read.
comedy.
The thing I read is that it's an action comedy, and there are some jokes in it. They're not good.
I missed.
Can you
all
remember
jokes.
any of the jokes? Because I can't.
So the first joke that got me was when Kevin Kline's character is in the town and he sees someone who is a bad guy to him, and he slaps the side of his waist to pick up his gun.
butt- Can you please? I cannot believe that you have skipped over the fact that he was wearing butt flap pajamas.
Yeah, see, that's a joke. He was wearing butt flap pajamas.
That's actually my first note on this film, to be fair. My first 6 notes tell a story of growing despair over the first half of this movie. It says, dude in butt flap pajamas slapping his butt because he thought his gun was there is great. This feels long at 20 minutes. Literally, none of this film is being absorbed. I wouldn't understand it any less if it was in Swahili. This was the film Lawrence Kasdan offered Kevin Costner for cutting him out of Big Chill. This film is awful. I've been here for weeks. I've never not been watching this film.
I can relate to all of that.
So
I remember putting it on, and how long? What's the runtime? 2 minutes 20.
2 hours 12.
yeah,
2 minutes 20.
2 hours 12.
2 hours. What did I say? 2 minutes.
Yeah, I
20?
wish it was 2 minutes 20.
I wish it was two. I wish it was a mega snippet of the
Yeah.
film, but it's not. It just goes on and on. And I genuinely, I put it on at 9 a.m. and at 1:30 I was still there.
Yeah.
Brave.
mhm.
That's not how time
No,
works.
that's
I know.
that's almost exactly what
I don't
did.
understand. I don't understand what happened. But honestly, I put it on at 9 a.m. I swear to God. I think I maybe went to the toilet like a few times and made a few cups of tea, and it just went on and on.
Man, I feel like this podcast is slowly cursing our lives.
Oh, man, do you want to know something actually? So, because this film, I just didn't have much to say about this film, like critically, as like a film viewer, as like an avid film viewer who watches and reviews films a lot. I just couldn't think of like things to say about this film. And then that led me to checking the runtime, and then checking the runtime of all the films we've watched, and working out how long we've actually spent watching films.
Oh man, why?
And I want you guys to guess how long it's been.
We're only
So we've
12
watched-
episodes in, and you're
I know
doing
we're only
that.
12 episodes in, but I just want to do this like every
quarter.
every
So it's-
quarterly review. This is our quarterly review.
So we're 12 episodes and 18 films, I think?
Don't just do the maths though. You have to do it based on like how the effect you think it's affected your life, basically.
Oh, I've been doing this since I was born.
Yeah.
What?
That's what it feels like.
Oh right.
So
Okay.
the turning point for me where this went from a fun thing to do into I've actually made a mistake here was when I watched Nashville a second time.
Man, that was like the 3rd episode.
That was the first
No,
episode.
Oh man.
That was the first episode.
Yeah, so that's
We did 4 films, but we were doing 4 films an episode in episodes
That's-
1 and 2.
that's
So that
true.
it did feel like a mistake.
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
it
Easy breezy.
then. I want you guys to guess though, how many minutes or how many hours do you reckon
So
we
can
spent
I
watching them?
guess that we've spent about I just got a very loud buzzing noise in my ear. It was a bit unsettling.
Was it a bee?
I think we've
Seb's
watched
actually part B. He is the offspring from B movie when Jerry Seinfeld as a bee fucked that
Jerry
woman.
Springer as the bee.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, Jerry
he
Seinfeld.
voiced the bee in
Yeah.
B movie and
That
fucked
is a
human
good
woman.
film.
Yeah, Seb's the offspring. Carry on, mate.
I'm gonna guess we've watched 32 hours of stuff.
That was so close to my guess.
What's your guess?
I was going to say 36.
How do you guys do this? Seb, it was 33.25 hours. You are a mentalist.
That's
Yes.
mad.
Do you want to know how many minutes it's
How
been?
many minutes has it been?
1,995 minutes.
Oh, man.
And also something I worked out, I could have watched my favourite film of all time, Mars Attacks, 18 times in the time that I've given
Man.
to this podcast.
I'm going to go on record and say I don't like this bit.
It's not even a bit. I just thought
I know, I'm just seeing far into the future now, and you letting me know how much time I've wasted for the 10
In
people
another
that
10
download this
episodes-
episode every week.
in another 10 episodes, we are going to have spent nearly 4,000 minutes watching
Beth, why are
these
you
bad
doing this,
80s
man?
Jeff Goldblum films. 4,000 minutes.
I don't feel good about this.
This isn't going to help us get over the hump, okay?
We've got some really good films coming up, but the problem is,
I know.
Yeah,
but
we
we
just
are-
need to get out of the mid 80s
we
because the
are
mid 80s
deep
was
in
a
the K-hole of
mistake
the
in
80s.
humanity. It was so bad. It gave us a lot of bad stuff, and then it went.
Everyone in the 70s was on coke. This is a decade of cocaine deprivation on writers.
What drugs were they on in the 80s?
Something big.
Or were they not on drugs? Were they clean? Is that why it was so bad?
Oh, man.
well, anyway, can I
didn't want this to be such a depressing episode.
So, actually, that's a really good point. On the depressing front, I want to get
Oh.
real for a second.
Okay.
Because even though that I do want to be a cowboy baby, westerns.
Hold on. Pause.
Okay.
Pause. How long have we been recording for?
Mine says 15 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay, because I made a note. I wanted to see how long it would take you to say, I want to be a cowboy baby. So I want to go on the record that it's been at least 13 minutes into probably a 45-minute episode. It took Seb to say that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you want to be a cowboy baby?
Oh, Beth, do you not know the Vine? I want to
don't-
be a
you guys-
cowboy baby.
Ugh,
No, I don't pay attention to the
I know,
internet.
but
It was
you lived
like
with this
5
boy
years
for at least
ago.
2 months. You should have been able to hear this because he was like a broken box walking around this house when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Just like, I want to be a cowboy. It was killing me.
Wait, can you show me the Vine? Because I feel very
Yeah,
not in on
Liam,
the
bring
joke.
get it up if you can.
Okay. Give it Giz a bit.
I want to be a cowboy, baby. I want to be a cowboy, baby. I want to be a cowboy, baby.
Are you happy with this, Beth?
I want to be a cowboy, baby.
That's enough. Please turn it off. That is enough. Oh my god, it's so loud. It's like it's piercing my skull.
It's loud enough that I can hear it my end. And I think it's coming out of your headphones.
Coming out of my headphones through my skull, like seeping out of my pores and into the microphone. Horrible. Yeah, that was. I
Awesome.
didn't need that injection.
But
of
yeah, so
internet.
no, for real, I do have a relatively serious point in that I am someone that does quite enjoy a good Western. Even though that Westerns as a whole can be like a really inherently problematic thing.
They are problematic, but I used to think that I liked them until I watched this film, and this film is a big nod to a lot of old westerns.
But it does
and
it all
just made
badly.
Yeah.
It does it badly, and it just made me realise that they're actually shit. They're only good at being westerns because westerns is such a specific genre full of such pastiche. But like when you take out all of that, it's just not. It's not actually that entertaining. It's so you're only enjoying it because you're being reminded of how much it is what it is. Does that make any sense?
It
is a western.
It makes sense explicitly for this film. I think there are fantastic westerns out there.
Some of the old spaghetti westerns
Yeah.
with those old like Italian stars in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they can be quite entertaining.
and there's a fair argument that things like Tarantino's Django Unchained is a good western. And I'm like,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. Taking the genre western and applying it to a already established director who's known for other genres and allowing them to put their spin on a western is always interesting. Like the Coen brothers vignettes that were on Netflix not too like a couple of years ago.
Is that
And
the
I
Ballad
think
of
No
Buster
Country-
Scruggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No
the
Country
one.
for Old Men is quite inspired by Western stuff as well.
Yeah.
from Coen Brothers.
This is like a pretty all-star cast, and it's still a bad film.
Yeah. But
I feel like they all lower their game. I feel like they were in a bad direction.
I thought Kevin Costner wasn't bad.
So I think there were two bright, beautiful lights for me and one was
Right.
Danny Glover because I love Danny Glover, and also
Danny Glover is great.
he looked real fly in that like kind of light pink jacket he was wearing.
True.
And actually, I quite liked Kevin Kline in this.
Oh yeah, the old butt flap boy.
Payton, yeah, butt flat boy.
Mm.
And actually,
I mean, I honestly don't know who's good, who's not, who's right, who's wrong. This film was passed over me like a mist.
That's what I mean. It's hard to talk about.
so so something I want to bring up is one of the first signs of like civilization we see in this film is a shop that is run by one man that is both a gunsmith and a barber shop. He is cutting someone's hair while also having to sell a man a gun.
He cuts the hair with the guns.
I like that.
He holds it up and just shoots the hair off.
Oh, so we should point out the lead in this film is Scott Glenn, who we've seen before.
Was he Buckaroo?
No, that's Peter Weller.
Fuck, they look the same.
No, because I think Scott Glenn, especially in this film, looks like a toddler playing dress up. Like, because was he in The Right Stuff? I think he was in The Right Stuff.
Yeah, he was in The Right Stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of them from The Right Stuff.
He just looks like he's playing a cowboy in a bad, like, local theatre production.
Yeah.
I don't think Scott Glenn can act. I've never seen him have any expression on his face other than stony.
Yeah, that's true. He is good as Styx in that Daredevil series.
Is that him?
That's him.
I've just had that, like, expanding brain meme happen to me. I understand a lot more suddenly, but he sucks in this.
Yeah, he does. Jeff Goldblum's sideburns are pretty fucking strong. There.
Yeah.
He's got these like fat right angles on his cheeks.
So he
looks good.
He's not in this very much, but he does look great.
How much do we get?
Ooh, can I take a guess?
Yeah, guess.
4 minutes 26.
I think less.
How much
I reckon
less?
Half that. I reckon 2 minutes.
Oh, Beth, you could have taken it home this time, but Liam, he was actually in it for 4 and 12.
Oh,
Was he really?
Yeah, which is not very much. The majority of that time is when he's having a tussle before he gets stabbed at the end.
He doesn't say much. He doesn't have much dialogue.
no.
He says something about having a lawful game in the saloon, and then he says
he came there
Ray.
to gamble.
And yeah, that's it. He doesn't say much in this film.
He does have a cool gun that he hides up his sleeve, though.
I do like
I'm
that.
very into that.
It's interesting that we haven't actually talked about the plot at all,
Oh
like
yeah.
the narrative, because I, honestly, if you were to ask me, I could not tell you. And I think that's almost maybe what the filmmakers were trying to get at, because it felt like a series of shorts, snippets of things they just wanted to cover. It didn't really feel like
I think
a
you're giving
story
this too
from A
much
to...
credit, because there is a full synopsis of this.
Oh, I'm sure there is a synopsis
As in,
available.
like, that it's supposed to be, I think what I read on IMDb along the lines of, like, 4 strangers meet and try and right the wrongs of a town
Yeah.
that they come across.
But that's not necessarily like the journey of the plot. That's just kind of an overview of what happens.
Yeah.
But you could either of you actually explain how they get?
Seb probably could.
I think I could.
I think
Okay,
he's
go
into
on.
this.
So
Educate me.
many years before the film starts, 5 years before the film starts, Scott Glenn's character shoots the father of a powerful local family because he was trying to shoot Scott Glenn's brother, Kevin Costner, in the back.
Right.
Many years have passed. They have served their time in prison or whatever. And they're coming back. Specifically, Scott Glenn is coming back to rescue his brother from a prison. He doesn't know he's in a prison. He's just meeting him in a town. But he gets him out of prison. Then they go on to the next town and meet his sister before they go on to California to start a new life. And on their way, they meet Kevin Kline, who is a man with a dark past that we don't really know about, but is secretly a sweet guy, apparently. And they also meet Mal, who is played by Danny Glover, who is he plays the epitome of a bad version of the black cowboy. And, like, there is a really, like, well documented history of cowboys that were not white. And there's lots of better films and better stories about that particular type of character than this film. And his dad dies, and then they help a caravan of people get to a new town. And there's a woman that two of the men kind of fall in love with, but they kind of don't. And then there's a shootout and the film ends.
I kind of want to applaud you, mate.
I'm so impressed.
Absolutely dumbfounded.
How many
by
times
that.
did you watch this film? Because I watched it 1.5 times and I didn't know any of that.
I watched it once, absolutely wired on caffeine this morning.
This
I'm really
film
impressed.
Felt like I was getting the life sucked out of me the longer that it was on. Like, I sat for a good 10 minutes after watching the film today thinking about whether I'd rather watch this or Nashville again. And
I'd rather watch this again still.
I'd rather watch Nashville.
yeah, I honestly can't decide.
I think it's worse than Nashville.
I think I'd rather rub dirt in my eyes than do either.
So, at 48 minutes, I did say, I feel like this film is about to end.
Yeah, was that I had a very similar. It must have been around that same.
Around where they're
time.
splitting off with the caravan and there's like nice music.
And they ride
playing.
off into
Yeah,
the
right?
distance. The music comes up, and you're like, "Oh, thank fuck!" And then suddenly there's another hour.
And you're not even halfway through the film. Yeah,
Yeah,
I had that moment.
Pacing is all over the place.
This film got nominated. The music for this film got nominated like a few times and won a couple of awards, I think. But
I thought it was whack.
Standalone, it's okay. But to fit this film, it makes no sense, I think. Like, there are points where it sounds almost like a Star Wars score. There's points where it sounds like a 60s like paranoia thriller kind of thing, but nothing Western like about it at all.
It's pretty like bargain bin knockoff John Williams.
Yeah, completely, man.
And like, I'm sorry if the person who wrote this has gone on to do many great things, but this one wasn't one of them.
No.
I feel like there was more room for error in the 70s and the 80s. We've watched a lot of films by people that went on to do really great things, but they were given like a few chances, and they produced these films that just weren't very good and were a bit of experimentation, a bit of a amalgamation of all their different ideas and like collaborations. And now, like, just to get $4,000 to make a film, you have to have a serious like pitch and a serious team behind you.
I just think everyone was on drugs, man.
Yeah, but we haven't established what drugs they were on.
A nice little bundle, I think.
Yeah, a little cocktail of
Party
narcotics
bag.
and hallucinogenics.
Little mystery pill.
But
Some of the action scenes I thought were just completely insane and nonsensical.
Yeah,
There's a
absolutely.
point where there's a shootout happening and some guy throws a stick that's on fire and a guy notices it in the air and just shoots it with a shotgun.
and that puts the fire out. Did you? Yeah, apparently
did
shooting
feel
an
a bit,
airborne flame will put it out.
It felt a bit slapstick for a Western, didn't it? It was lacking a degree
It's
of
a comedy.
decorum.
Is it though? It just didn't know what it wanted to do.
They're supposed to be like, cowboys are supposed to be cool.
And
They're supposed to be
serious.
like old-fashioned superheroes
Yeah.
that people, like kids, want to be. And that I didn't want to be these guys.
Nothing about them. Although there is a sick line that Danny Glover gives, which is like, "Now I don't want to kill you, and I don't think you want to die either." And I just thought that is beautiful.
Yeah. Do you know what? This film got one laugh out of me, and I feel bad about it.
What was it?
It was as Kevin Costner was walking away from his sister's house, and his nephew was there, and Kevin Costner said, "I can't be bringing a kid with a grown adult all day." And the kid just says, "Well, who's the grown adult?" And it's not a good joke, but it did make me laugh.
I laughed when the internet connection went down and I stopped watching it. And I stood up and I applauded. I gave it an 8-minute standing ovation.
Small little respite of freedom. And everyone just dies immediately in this film.
Oh, there's
If
actually
there's
a
a
very
small
good
puncture in their body in any way, they just hit the floor, and then dead.
Yeah, it's very quick.
Disposable lives.
I do want to point out. Oh, sorry.
sorry.
No, go on. I just wanted to bring up the one quote I wrote down that I liked from this
You
film.
do that.
It was when they arrive in the first little town and they're talking to John Cleese of Monty Python, who is the sheriff of the town. John Cleese, who, by the way, his thoughts and opinions about the world have not aged well, so don't follow him on Twitter.
They have not. They have not.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. Scott Glenn talks to him and says, "Oh yeah, I'm looking for a young fella full of juice about my size. I'm looking for a young fella full of juice about." I can't do the cowboy accent.
Oh my
but
god!
I want
I
you
knew
to
it
know
was
that-
going to come out.
Yeah.
I know, I was so upset when I saw we had to watch a Western, man.
We don't have many other westerns, do we?
I really hope not.
I actually don't know, but
It's
we'll see.
'cause- And I know Seb's holding this back as well. He's trying to hold some sense of decorum on this podcast.
I'm being very restrained.
because I lived with this boy when he was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for a couple of weeks, and it was insufferable.
Honestly, that's all this film made me want to do was play it again.
It's a good game, actually.
There's a point
It's
where
a better
Scott
Western
Glenn,
than this is.
I
I
can't
agree.
talk to you about Red Dead anymore. There is a point in this film where Scott Glenn, after he has his heroic return of taking off his head bandage,
Oh god, yeah.
he goes and rescues this kid and finds out that his friend died by falling off a horse off a cliff.
That's his brother, number one.
Okay, it's his brother, and he laughs.
Yeah, he
He
said
laughs at the dead horse.
no.
That his brother fell off a horse off a cliff.
He-
and he's
Also,
just like,
horse in that.
Because
I
he
think he
doesn't.
cares more about his brother than the horse.
He
Probably.
doesn't believe that Jake, Kevin Costner, would have fallen off a horse to die. So he was like, "Something's amiss here," and then like 10 seconds later, we see Kevin Costner is alive and well in a what do you call it? What's the big farm building called? A barn. And there's also a point where he's swinging on the rafters of a barn
Yeah,
to
and then lands
impress
on a
someone.
woman. Yeah, he lands on a woman.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much this film just bended around me, refracted
same.
around my ears. and
I
eyes.
honestly can't remember any of it. I found an interesting review of it though.
Go.
Yeah.
I'd like to read it out.
Hit me.
Okay. So just try and picture the person that wrote this as I read it.
Can you give me a mental image of the person?
Well, I have no idea.
What do you imagine?
Yeah, what do you
I'm
imagine?
imagining, for some reason, I'm imagining like a small mousy librarian.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know
Okay.
why. It could be a guy. I don't know why I'm imagining
I'm thinking
this.
of just a mouse librarian. So
Yeah.
A mouse librarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this movie so much that
Oh.
I got tired of renting it and bought a copy.
Wow.
I tell anyone who asks, it's the Western for 12-year-old boys of all ages.
Oh.
I'd guess that women would also enjoy it for no other reason than the superb male cast. I can't think of a film that has greater depth. I'm doing my phone voice, aren't I?
Yeah, it's fine. It works because you're doing a roll. It's cool.
I love the humour woven through the episodes of action and buddyhood, and nearly fell off my seat laughing when John Cleese first appeared on screen.
What?
His first line is an all-time great, right up there with Tommy Lee Jones's My, what a mess in The Fugitive. I won't quote it in case you haven't seen the film, you just quoted it. If you want to be... Oh no, she's talking about the quote in this film.
All he says is, "What's all this then?" Which is just like a quote from Monty Python's Flying
She
Circus.
loves it. This my mouse librarian is getting off on
Liam,
it.
that's why it was funny.
Yeah.
If you want to be thoroughly entertained for a couple of hours and don't require powerful social import in your viewing choices, I recommend Silverado strongly. Actually, the relationship of Danny Glover and the main protagonists, plural, is socially important. So enjoy that too.
Oh my
I
god.
think
Thank you,
that was
Mouse
written by a
Librarian.
simp.
She's been sectioned. She's
She gave this film 8 out of 10 stars.
Man.
I don't know why I've assumed it's a woman. Probably a man.
It's almost definitely a man because at one point it does say, "I have to assume women would like it too because of the male
Yeah.
cast."
Yeah.
You can be a male mouse librarian. It's 2020.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Get with it, Seb.
Beth,
True Bloom. What do we do?
not much.
I gave it 4 out of 10 because although he, I think, was maybe evil.
Well,
Is he evil?
It's.
He's not evil. He's friends with the bar owner.
But then he gets stabbed
he did
by
try
someone
and
who
shoot.
I think is meant to be good.
He doesn't shoot someone. I remember that.
But he did.
He's going to shoot someone,
He
and he
tried
doesn't.
to shoot Danny Glover, and Danny Glover stabbed him instead.
No, he reaches down and he pulls out the knife from
To
his
stab
sock,
him.
and then he puts it back.
No,
No, he
right,
doesn't.
right at the end, he gets killed by Danny Glover for trying to shoot
sorry,
Danny
no.
Glover.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about St. Ives and no, not St. Ives. I'm thinking about Death,
Death
Wish
Wish
3.
4.
Nice,
Death Wish 4. Jesus Christ.
real smooth.
yeah, I
choice
just
there.
thought.
Just cut all that out, please. Please just cut all of that
No,
out.
I'm going to loop it twice.
Put a 10-hour version on YouTube. and then play it.
Yeah, so I gave it 4 out of 10 because I thought Jeff, he had a bit of style and grace about him.
He did have style, and he smirked in a good way.
Yeah, you know what? I gave him a 3 solely for the smirks.
The smirks were good.
Smirks.
Well, I've gone 4, so we're all on about the same level, and not.
And I always give 1 or 2 below you guys anyway, because my standard is generally higher. Lower or higher?
It's something.
I gave it a 5 for craft.
What?
I match you there.
I get a 3.
But actually, now I'm gonna think about it. Why the fuck did I give it a 5?
Yeah, that's half.
Some of the
Yeah, no, not half. It's not even half of a Western.
No, it's not.
I changed that to a 2.
Wow.
Brave.
I'd quite like this to be the last one on the Linda board, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that was in my mind. I was like, I hope this is last. But
And I hope it stays there.
Yeah, yeah. I really hope this is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think
Who
we've got
knows?
worse actually to come. But
Oh god, the late 80s.
Yeah, I think
They were
there's a
pretty
film
bad.
about a vampire coming up soon, so we'll see what happens.
no, that I'm into. I'm into it.
Yeah, but you're into Western, Seb, and look where we are.
This was a bad one. Okay.
Yeah, I gave it 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Change mine to a 3, Seb.
What, instead of a 2?
Oh no, to a 2. I thought I said 5.
You did, and then you said instead I want to give it a 2.
Oh yeah, 2. Stick with 2.
Okay.
And chuck in a 2 for enjoyability for me because this film was cock piss partridge, mate. I absolutely hated it.
Cook piss partridge. I gave it a 1 for enjoyability, and I don't know why. I think it's the smirks again. Just the smirks.
I always enjoy when I get a bit of Jeff. Oh.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if we were to do a podcast about Jeff Goldblum and then rate any of his films 0 out of 10 for enjoyability, he'd probably be really upset with us.
I feel like he has enough creative integrity to be able to look back on this and be like, that was a bit of a beef. We kind of beefed that one, lads.
Yeah, and
I mean, we do that, don't we? With
everything I make immediately
everything we
afterwards.
do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And halfway through and abandon it and never get
But you know, criticism is not a negative thing. It's a sign. It's a sign of love.
I never start anything because I know it's going to be bad, so I just don't. And then I save myself the trouble of going,
This is getting too
that was
real.
bad.
That's really clever.
Too real, man.
I'm a genius.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just running the numbers for you, and then I'll have where this sits on the leaderboard. Well, this is the 18th film we've watched, and it's the 17th film on the board.
Oh,
What's come below? Is it Nashville?
St. Ives.
fuck off.
Was St. Ives bad? I can't
I
even
love
remember.
St. Ives, man.
Beth, you scored it. You
I
scored it
hijacked
so
it.
low.
What were my
Yeah,
scores?
You gave it a 1, a 2, and a 1.
You juiced me on that big time, man.
It's because I had to watch 2 fucking films because I watched the wrong film and then I was in
That's
a sour
on you,
mood.
bud.
I was in a sour mood and I allowed the sourness to render my
It's unprofessional
answers.
and churlish. I think I want to bring in a new rule.
Okay.
That I think each of us get one opportunity throughout the entire existence of this podcast to like veto and change a film's ranking.
Well, all of the ranking,
No, just you get to change the ranking of one film.
but for all of us.
Yeah.
For the leaderboard.
At one point throughout this whole podcast, we only get to do it once, but you'll get to think if you're really pissed off about where a film is, you get to change it. But don't blow your load too early because there may be another thing that will come 20 films from now that really pisses you off.
I wish I'd known this before because I would have put Annie Hall at number 1 just to piss you guys off.
And I would immediately use my one to put it bottom.
No, it would have just been down to Seb, and he would just get whatever film he wants at the time. I don't know if this is. I feel like doesn't this go against the whole concept of us ranking them fairly?
Yeah, but Jeff likes jazz, and you can't predict jazz.
There are
so
no
chuck in a
rules,
bit
you're
of
right.
jazz.
Wow,
It's all
this
about
is
it's all about the
so
films you don't watch.
multi-leveled and meta. I love it.
So speaking of things that are a little bit meta, this is our first on-screen Jeff death.
No,
No.
bullshit. He gets eaten by
Invasion of the Body
Invasion
Snatchers.
of the Body
Oh,
Snatchers.
god damn it, you're right.
He gets choked out.
He does.
And I
Wrong.
know because as
You
soon
are
as I
wrong,
saw this
Seb.
one, I got a flashback to the last one. It was horrible.
I think
And I got a flashback to Liam saying that boy got choked out, and he just
did.
said it again, and I already had a flashback.
I think
of
I
that
had blocked
today.
that out of my memory because I had no memory of that.
This film has weakened me today. My brain is really running slow.
Well, ignore me then, Liam. Come on.
Right. Tagline or gagline?
I don't like
Taglines, gaglines. That's the name of it. I hate it.
Gagline?
Yeah, it's a gagline.
What's a gag line?
A line that's not real.
Oh. Like, no,
Oh,
gag's like a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a farce. Okay,
Like
sorry.
this entire podcast.
Actually, Beth, you're right. We should call it taglines or fast lines.
I need to stop like dissecting every creative decision we make.
I only
'cause-
thought about that 10 minutes ago, so we can very easily veto that. if we want.
No, I support it.
3 taglines, 1's real, 2 have been written by me. Number 1, 4 strangers became friends, 4 friends became heroes on the road to Silverado.
That's too
That
long.
sounds like the tagline for the Snow Globe film. I swear it's the same thing. It's like
The
4
Snow
guys
Globe
become
film?
friends. Sorry,
Big
never mind,
Chill.
carry on. The Big Chill.
Four.
That had like 12 people in, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Sorry, continue.
Number 2, 4 guys on the ride of their life.
Okay.
Or number 3, 4 strangers against a lawless town. The world is what you make it.
The last one
This-
is
they're
the
all
real
so
one.
uninteresting.
Yeah.
I just don't even care.
This is probably the driest film we've watched, I think.
Yeah, man.
So dry. It's a fucking western. It's full of dust. And the script was full of dust.
That
also.
joke came past my head and I let it go.
And I botched it. I did it so badly that I didn't even realise that it was a joke.
I'm going with
No,
number. Give me 3.
What, 4 strangers against a lawless town? The world is what you make of it.
Yeah.
Beth?
2.
You don't even give a shit, man.
Beth's clocked out.
So you think 4 guys on the ride of their life?
Why not?
Seb, we need to have a chat for sure. Well, fuck this, but you're both wrong.
Oh my god, this is why I don't care, because I'm never right.
Get better.
But Beth, think of how sweet it will
How?
be when you can
How am
do
I
it.
supposed to
Because you
improve
don't care.
my...
You don't even try and think about it. You're like, you know what? It's number 1. Who gives a fuck? This whole thing's useless. We're all going to die. The sun is going to kill
I'm
us
sorry,
all.
I feel slightly existential after watching a horrible film that was 2 hours and 90 days long twice.
It's actually very relevant
Why do
for the
you watch it
conversation
1.5 times?
that we had a couple of episodes ago, Beth.
Sorry, I'm just going to answer Liam.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. You do that. Don't worry about me.
Because I just didn't take it in the first time. What did you say, Sam?
I was, it's like only an episode or 2 ago we were talking about how any film that's under an hour and a half is a short film, and any film that's over an hour and 3/4 is a long film. And this was like a very long film.
I still steadfastly stand against that.
Okay, well,
Against my theory.
Yeah.
Beth, I think we need to have a talk.
We all need to have a talk, and then
I
we all
think
need to go our
this
separate
podcast
ways.
is in its dog days, mate.
We need to do like the whole standoff thing where we're all just stood doing a Mexican standoff, like
Yeah,
in a
holding
Western.
microphones at each other.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how mad it would be if
To shoot.
we made a film and Jeff Goldblum was in it, and then we reviewed our own film?
What if we make a film about this podcast and Jeff Goldblum plays all 3 of us? Like a Nutty Professor style.
Can I take that up one more level?
Please?
What if we make a film about this podcast and Jeff Goldblum has to replay all of the characters he's played in all of the films, and also
What if
us?
we... Okay, sorry, go on.
No, that's it.
What if we made a biopic about Jeff Goldblum and all of his...
But the Bloomiverse version.
The Bloomiverse version, and he lived the roles he's lived in these films in order that we predicted them.
It's going to be like a Being John Malkovich sort of thing. And I say
Multi-layered.
that
Yeah.
having never seen Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, it's a good film,
Never
actually.
seen it.
No.
It's such a good film, and I think we're onto something here. I think we could actually make a film. We could make this film. I think people would watch it, and then people would listen to the podcast. Win-win.
I admire your optimism, old priv. Sorry, this film has just put me in a dark place.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about it very much, and we've
Give me a
actually done
Bloomiverse
pretty
then,
well.
mate.
We've done pretty well talking about it.
What did you
I was
just
worried
say
it
to
would
me?
get to.
I said, give me your Bloomiverse.
So it's pretty clear that, I mean, literally when we were talking about Bonsai, we said we don't know if Jeff has ever been a cowboy. Now we do.
Yes.
We do now know that Jeff was once a cowboy.
Okay, sorry.
No, please.
Just if that was him, dipping his toe into the old cowboy waters and realised he loved the chaps and was like, maybe I love the lifestyle.
And I think what's happened is he doesn't love the lifestyle, considering he got stabbed. But he did enjoy the fashion. And
how do we explain his deaths? How do we weave that in?
He has to pretend he dies.
Yeah, he waits for people to walk away and then he gets up.
Oh, sorry, because he is immortal. Yeah,
that's why his death scene in this was so fast, because he's like, I don't want to really milk this one. It's been a long day. Just give me a quick stab. I'll give you a little, and then I'll go. Then when old Danny Glover pops off, then I'll have a little wander and go over to Nashville or something. Become New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 150 years between those two things happening in terms of real world time.
I mean, what's your point?
When you say real world time, you mean within the films, not our real world.
Yeah, between the films, because I mean, there was like
in the films.
Yeah, this is film.
Real world.
Yeah, Silverado
not in the real world.
Like 1886.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But you just said real world.
Sorry.
As in like
Beth.
Real world.
We're creating a lot of different fictions.
We have the real world in the films, and then we have our real world.
Yeah.
And we need to be clear about which ones are which.
Nothing in my life is clear after the last 2 hours and 12 minutes of Silverado.
It was not the best thing to watch.
No.
First thing today. It was not the best way to start a day. You both look like you're having a full-on breakdown. So I don't have anything else to say about this film.
Man, I'm surprised we got this much out of it.
We've been talking for a solid hour.
Today has felt like 3 years.
It felt really long, didn't it? I was stuck watching this film at 9 a.m. and I was late getting here because I was watching it.
And I also
and
watched
it's nearly 9 o'clock.
I watched the Buckaroo documentary thing today for the other episode, and I feel like I'm just never going to escape these movies. I had a bit of an existential moment today, specifically about Buckaroo, because we've had such an issue with those episodes. And I thought I was done with that portion of my life.
We need to just not think about that.
And I watched that documentary and saw clips of the movie again, and I started to convulse. Seb, get that shit out of here.
I think it's kind of a cool poster. I know, obviously, like, they tried to make it all cool.
I kind of want to hang it up somewhere.
Oh, have you actually got a poster?
No, I just have the DVD.
Oh, you should totally frame that.
I feel like we're crossing territories again. We need to finish this episode before we...
So, that's great. We've done good stuff. We're doing good work.
Man.
Liam, what are we watching next?
Oh, shit.
That's your job.
I know. This film, I don't want to keep blaming everything on it, but I just feel like it has knocked off my magnetic core. His name isn't Josh Goldblum.
No, that's his younger brother.
Josh Gold.
Does he have any brothers or sisters?
I don't think so. But
this is your job, man.
I'm gonna find out right now.
Oh, fuck my life.
I think Josh Goldblum would definitely skate.
Sorry.
Beth, are you alright? I just heard you have a bit of a
I forgot
moment
I was
there.
wearing mascara, and then I just did the old rubby eyes. I just rubbed chemicals onto my eyeballs.
Got the old panda eyes.
Yeah.
It's
It's the first time in like 3 months I've worn it.
He's got so many films to watch.
Jesus
it is
Christ.
Transylvania 65000.
Oh,
Is that about vampires?
2 reporters for a tabloid newspaper are sent to Transylvania to find the Frankenstein monster or get fired. They are laughed at there, but something suspicious is going on. Could there be monsters, vampires, mummies, and werewolves?
I'm guessing there's all of those.
I hope so.
Comedy, fantasy, horror.
Imagine if they made a poster and they were like, "Ooh, could there be?" No, there is not. And like you go and you watch the film and you just come out and the conclusion is no, the poster lied to us.
It looks like our man Jeff is front and center.
Can I give you two some good juicy Jeff goss?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
So, this was the first film that
Let the juice flow.
where he co-starred with a wife of his.
Ah.
What,
Patricia.
the one we just watched?
Yeah, Patricia Gould, who I don't know who she played.
She, presumably the only woman
There
that
was
was
two-
under
there were two women.
35.
2 women. There's
Okay.
Stella.
There were 3 women. There were 4 women in this film.
No, that was not. There was one woman.
There was-
No, there was 2 women, Max.
There was the woman who said she would one day not be pretty.
Yeah.
She must have been his wife.
There was-
It couldn't have been the other one.
There was Scott Glenn's sister.
I honestly have no recollection of her.
There was Linda Hunt, who was Stella, the barkeep. And there was the blonde woman that Kevin Costner was flirting with.
Also, don't remember that.
She's the one he landed on.
Sure.
Is that what landed on? As in, like, married? Is that-
No.
No, as in, like, backflipped off a barn rafter.
Oh,
Yeah.
physically landed on.
yeah.
I thought it was some middle class slang for
So,
when you marry someone.
so Jeff was married to Patricia Gould for this film, and in
Which one's that?
the next film,
Was she the one who was like, the hills are prettier than me, but I won't be pretty? when the hills aren't pretty?
maybe.
Oh man, this film put me in a fugue state.
But after this film, they divorced. So take from that what you will.
Wow.
And then he ended up marrying
her.
his co-star in Transylvania 65000, who we'll meet next week.
That is juicy.
See some
And she stars
hang
across from him in The Fly and
chemistry.
Earth Girls Are Easy as well. And her name is Gina Davis, who you will definitely recognise.
Yeah, I know Gina
Yeah.
Davis. Awesome.
They're not married now. He has a new wife again.
He does.
How many wives has he had?
I believe it's third time's the charm.
This is
or
the
I'm a
third
FA.
wife he's currently on.
Yeah, and he's got 2 kids with him as well.
Yeah.
He's become a dad later in life, and this is why he's now got a whole new sense of wonder and like childlike bewilderment about the world because he's now a dad.
That's great.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like I should apologize for what this film has made this episode become.
Hey, look, we got to own it. We're going to come back next time, and we're going to have pizzazz.
Yeah, next time we'll poop on it, I swear.
We're going to have zest. We're going to have panache. We're going to have goulash. I've lost.
You're just reading your middle class picnic menu.
Actually, Beth, I
These
had
are
falafels.
all the things you had on a crostini this morning.
I did have some. I'm not going to say this out loud. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, let's end this fucking garbage.
Yeah, why are we still
please.
talking?
I can't do this anymore.
Surely we're not going to use any of this.
Thank everyone. Thank you very much for watching. We're on Instagram at foreverinblum or foreverinblum@gmail.com. Please, I don't know why you would after this, but please share this show around if you can. Really helps us get more listeners, and listen on Spotify if you can, because that really helps. Jeff, I'm not even going to ask you this time.
Do you know what? I have one thing to say.
What?
I don't want to be a cowboy, baby.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, bye.
Do, 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 do.